Dear participants, dear ladies, welcome to the Kickoff presentation of the bpw.webinars of BPW International. My name is Ursula Schmid, Webmaster and Communication for BPW International, and I am assisting the speaker during this presentation. Today's program features BPW International President Dr. Catherine Bosshart's webinar on CSW. Everybody talks about CSW and no one really knows what it is. This shows that there is a need for detailed information on this topic. CSW 66 starts in 2 weeks, so the topic is cutting edge. I would now like to give the floor to our International President, Dr. Catherine Bosshart, please.
Thank you very much, Ursula, and good evening to everybody. I'm very pleased to have you here. It's our first webinar. As Ursula said, we will have it on the website afterwards for all those who didn't see the information or didn't have time to join us. So, what is CSW? Ich kann dich nicht bewegen. Dat doet niet reageren. Ursula.
Okay.
I have a problem with the screen here. Oh yeah, now it's okay. Just to give you a short overview of what and how CSW came about. CSW is the abbreviation, as you probably know, of the Commission on the Status of Women. And it has originally to do with a charter signed in June 1945 in San Francisco after the Second World War, right at the end of the Second World War, where 50 states signed a charter to continue, in fact, the League of Nations, which had been formed after the First World War to prevent such a horrible event again. And it didn't really work out, as we have seen. We had one person from BPW International, which existed already at this time, and she came there. She had she was a successor, in fact, or the deputy of the BPW. Of the International Federation of BPW, and went to San Francisco, and that was Esther Heimer. Esther Heimer had a very, very long life. She turned to be 102 or was 102 when she died. And she did an incredible job at the UN in New York. She was really very well known, I think, by several general secretaries. Kofi Annan wrote to her when she turned 100, and she was really a fantastic advocate for us and a fantastic feminist also. She was getting involved very much into the women's rights movement in the USA, and did everything to help the women getting their right to vote. On October 24th, the UN became effective, and immediately Esther Heimer applied for consultative status with the UN, the ECOSOC, that is the Economic and Social Council, under agency of the UN, and we were approved. It was not the first status, but we were approved in 1947, and today we have 193 member states at the UN who are actively participating. Not all did sign all UN treaties, so if you have CEDAW or you have the Human Rights Council, there are less. What were the aims and the objectives of the UN? So I just, you can read it by yourself. It's certainly the maintenance of international peace and security, a topic that is bothering our minds right now. And it's not easy to maintain this peace. And we have, you know, very well, when you go to the, afterwards to the organization of the UN, quickly you will see there are powers which are part of the UN who can veto, say, the resolutions of the UN and can prevent them if they are part of the inner circle of the Security Council. To develop friendly relations among member states and among nations, I think that is certainly something that is existing and is working pretty well, because the ambassadors are on a continuous basis participating in the UN. Then a worldwide cooperation in solving problems in the different fields of economy, social, cultural, or humanitarian problems. To promote human rights, that is one thing that is very, very important. And the UN is also, the UN nations are also the platform where various nations can coordinate their activities. And we really hope that in the long run, we will, so far, it worked out pretty well. The UN helped prevent a world war again. So here you have an overview of the organization. I have to show you the principal organs. That is the General Assembly, which is uniting usually in September in New York. And the General Assembly has some subsidiary organizations and programs and funds. Then we have the Security Council. We have the Economic and Social Council. We have the Secretariat, which is based in New York. Then we have the Social Council of Justice, which is based in Den Haag. And we have the trusteeship, the last thing, which was in function mostly as long as the UN was taking care of countries which became freed from the colonial powers and needed to have a patronage before they became independent. So you will see under the Economic and Social Council, we have special agencies. When you look at it here, we have the ILO, the International Labour Organization, we have the FAO, the Food and Agriculture Organization, UNESCO in Paris, the WHO in Geneva, the World Bank Group, and so forth, the international, I think it's also Trade Commission and so forth. So it's a very important very important body to which we are associated. So, and then here you have the regional commissions of Africa, which is based in Ethiopia, in Addis Ababa. We have the one in Europe, which is in Geneva. We have the ECLAC, which is in Beirut, if I'm not wrong. No, sorry, ECLAC is in Santiago de Chile. ESCAP is in Bangkok, and ESCWA is in Beirut. So these are the general, the overview of our organizations. With after the founding of the United Nations, with the Council resolution of the 21st of June 1946, was established the Commission on the Status of Women. And in fact, the Commission on the Status of Women is the principal body and the only intergovernmental body exclusively dedicated to the promotion of gender equality. So it's very important. In 1996, this was expanded. Their mandate was expanded in the sense that their role was added the monitoring and reviewing the progress in the implementation of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, which had been concluded in 1995 in Beijing. and also to mainstreaming a gender perspective in all UN activities. So that is very important. And since 2015, the CSW is also following up the agenda for sustainable development, which should be achieved in 2030. So here you see a picture into one of the auditoriums at the UN in New York during the Commission on Status of Women. Ursula, I hand over to you. So that is more or less what is the Commission on the Status of Women.
There are no questions. What would you like from me now at this moment?
I think you had some questions and to go on. What might be important to know? I think we were talking about the status, the consultative status.
Then we would like to know about the status, the consultant status, the status 1. What are prerequisites for that? What do we have to do to make it happen? These are the next questions. And then who are the members of CSW?
So you see the general consultative status is in fact reserved for large international NGOs, which have an area of work which covers most of the issues on the agenda of ECOSOC and other subsidiary bodies. So that is important. And these organizations tend to be fairly large. They have a broad geographical reach. The pre-requirements are 2 years of existence, established headquarters, which we have in Geneva, and a democratically adopted constitution, the authority to speak for its members, representative structure, appropriate mechanisms of accountability, which are the case we have at the Congress, we do this mechanism of accountability, and in regard of the finances, we have a revision every year of the finances of the previous year, which are sent to the international board, and democratic and transparent decision-making processes. So these are the decisions that are also taken by the International Congress. And of course, we tried also to have democratic and transparent decision-making processes in the executive. And the basic resources, I think that is important, of the organization must be derived mainly from contribution of the national affiliates or other. We have also the case of when you get money for funding for projects. So an NGO, a non-governmental organization with general consultative status can make, that is a general rule which we have at UN, we can make written statements by organizations in general consultative status with ECOSOC, which may not exceed more than 2,000 words. Oral statements can also be made, but have to be announced in advance and may not exceed 3 minutes. Then these are three different kind of statuses. The special consultative status, NGOs which have a special competence in and are concerned specifically with only a few of the fields of activity covered by the ECOSOC counts as by Economic and Social Council. And then the NGO rooster status are all the NGOs which cannot be placed in one of the categories above. So I would like to go into the CSW process a little bit so that you understand how the thematic or the topic of the process of of course, the Commission on Status of Women is taking part. It's being made every year. And we have a so-called preparation period for each big session. So the Commission on Status of Women is usually lasting 2 weeks. And a commission determines the theme, the review theme, and the emerging issues every year. This is usually done quite directly after, when this year is the CSW 66, after this big conference is finished, then we will, these 2 themes will be, the priority theme and the review theme will be defined. The priority theme is in this sense important because the principal outputs of the Commission on Status of Women, the so-called agreed conclusion, basis on priority themes set for each year. So they have a binding have a binding quality. On the review themes reflects the challenges and achievements in the implementation of the Millennium Development Goals for women and girls, and are in this year the agreed conclusion of the 58th session about economic inclusion of women and girls. And on the priority theme deals with women and girls and climate change. So we have also an organization in the UN, which are the UN Women, and Secretary General and the UN Women focus on the priority theme. And there is a bureau of the NGO, of the CSW Commission, and this bureau facilitates the preparation of the next CSW. So we have bureau members are elected from the Commission of the regional representation for 2 years. So we have all the states that are in this Commission on Status of Women will change every 2 years. This year we have South Africa is the chair, then Argentina, Germany, Latvia, and the Republic of Korea are in the Commission. I don't know at this time who will be the facilitator. That is a very interesting job. I remember when we had, when Switzerland was in the Commission of the CSW, we had a member of the embassy, that was Christine Löw, who was doing the facilitation. That is a very responsible job. So in fact, in the first week of CSW, we have all the official events. And each member state, the member states present are usually explaining how the situation in their countries is in regard of gender equality and where they have shortcomings. So this facilitator is taking out from the zero draft, which is already ready when the Commission starts. She is adding things that she thinks need to be in there and are not yet in there. We will right after we talk about this. So you have that is the start. The definition of the theme that is made based on the Beijing Platform of Action. Then we have the expert group meeting that was in September already 2021, and which was where the expert group was nominated on this priority theme. Then we have, as NGOs, we had a deadline until mid of October to write a written statement, which we did. We handed it in. It is on our website. It has been accepted. And the NGOs, the written statements are also reflected up to a certain extent and in the zero draft of the CSW agreements. So at the beginning of the next year, where CSW is going to be held, the zero draft is being distributed to the member states and to the NGOs. So I am always participated in the Swiss deliberations. We are usually beginning of February or end of January, we are asked to come to Bern and to meet the delegation who is going to New York, and to act and to give our opinion on the zero draft. So the zero draft was this year about 6 pages long, pretty short. And we found many things that were not in there. I specifically was talking about the climate change and the effect it had on all our members on islands. We have quite a lot in Polynesia, quite a lot of islands which are not existing anymore, or where people could not stay, and they became refugees. So it first that the states do everything to grant citizenship to these citizens who have been forced to leave their homeland, their home country, and also to help them to settle down again. And then after we have, the NGOs gave all their inputs, it started to go out again. Switzerland was talking with, or each state is talking with its, let's say, allies in parentheses, with member states with whom they are really working, and this can be with or without input of NGOs. And CSW is also enhancing that the delegation is really put together quite often, not only members of the governments, but that we have NGOs put into the delegation. Because as soon as the deliberations on the draft, on the zero draft, or on the next version starts, we are not allowed into the meeting rooms, we are not allowed into the deliberation room. We have to be outside, and we are informed usually by different embassies to whom we have a very good contact, and then we try to influence there and to lobby there. So the revised zero draft is usually ready at the beginning of CSWs, that should be ready by the beginning of the sessions. And then in the first week of the session, we have the discussion and presentation of the problems of member states, as I already mentioned. And then the facilitator releases a new version. And then in the second week, the serious discussions start of this text. And usually it's lasting a very long time. They are specifically as more and more as the session proceeds. Thursday and Friday, they have usually sessions up to the night. And what we do is we get the versions, we are in attendance or outside of the meeting rooms. We try to lobby with the people who come out with the delegates. We try to give them food and enough to drink so that they can last for long sessions, but it's always very good. And then we know also what the situation is, or where the critical points are, what makes problems. And then we try, usually those who are present, to work with our NGO of a specific country to work on their representation, on their government's representation, so that we can have joint ventures. It's not possible. You have to imagine during a discussion, it's not one country can always come forward with one proposition. You have to make coalitions, you have to work on in groups, and then one country brings things forward, and then we don't need to go on this, but we might come, your home countries might come forward with another thing. And quite often what we have then as an outcome document is a compromise, of course. And it's not always, I must say, last year, it was the draft of the final documents agreement was pretty weak. And but this year I really hope that we are going forward and we are a little bit more progressive. What is going on during CSW moreover? So we have the side events. What are side events? Side events are usually events organized by member states, which into which also NGOs can participate or can work together inside UN premises or inside of embassies. We usually had, I remember when we had a CSW in a present way, we usually had the equal pay presentation in the German embassy, and that was usually very well received because Germany is one of the leading countries with not very much advanced in regard of equal pay, but they are very much advanced in doing events for equal pay and giving also money to also, I think, to BPW to organize equal pay events. I think that is very important. Then the second type of events are the parallel events at CSW. These are events that the NGOs organize outside of the UN, and it is possible they are organized, in fact, by NGO CSW New York. And these NGOs must not have consultative status with ECOSOC. They are accepted, these events are accepted and organized by NGO CSW. Usually during the time we were present in New York, we had about 400 physical events. Now in the virtual era, we have around 700 different events. That was in 2020 and 2021 and 2022. So the NGO, then CSW, the NGO CSW organizes also a special forum or a consultation day, as it was called, and runs parallel to the NGO CSW. And there is, it's quite often helped or also supported by the UN Commission on the Status of Women. It runs parallel to the official sessions taking place at UN headquarters. This provides also civil society the opportunity to engage in the processes and CSW sessions without ECOSOC accreditation or a UN ground pass. Let me quickly go a bit further into it. For example, we have the situation of Taiwan. Taiwan has not been recognized as a state, as an independent state by the UN. They have no seat at the UN because China is there. So side events cannot be organized by Taiwan, but they are organizing parallel events now. A special one you will see when we have the list of all the parallel events. And they can participate in events of other NGOs. So we have a large federation in Taiwan, and they will organize with us the one of the specifically the one event we have on the 18th of March. So that is it's opening up, and usually in the presential times where we could go there, we had only access for 20 people to go to the UN where we could get ground passes. And what we did, usually 5 ground passes were reserved for our youngs from each region. The 15 ground passes we had were distributed to the 5 regions that make 3 ground passes per region. So usually we were asking people who had projects in the theme topic of the priority themes. So because we estimated, at least during the time I was Vice President UN, we did it because I estimated that we need people who are really in the thematic, in the priority themes. They work in this section and are able also to ask questions, to respond. It's not just a sitting there activity and listening in the side events, but we can really participate. So that was the important thing. Another type of events or of organizations we have there is the advocacy events that are organized by NGO-CSW, the NGO-CSW forum. You can also find on our NGO, on our UN website and the CSW 66, you can find the booklets they usually distribute. That was organized, I think, by Sweden, Switzerland, and several states who paid for that. And on the basis of this advocacy booklet, we were every year, there were about 6 to 8 advocacy forums where you could enroll and you could go and got some kind of training, because advocacy is not easy. And quite often we were also training the elevator pitch, because quite often you meet the important people who have to change floors, cannot have to take the elevators, and there are not special elevators for the important people and for the NGOs. So you are cramped together in one elevator, and quite often you can take the opportunity and you can talk to this important person of what the major topics are for our advocacy. But it's an affair of 1 minute or 1.5 minutes, so you have to train this a little bit. That is another chance that I would really suggest you to go there. Ursula, we might interrupt here and give the word to you. Ursula is really I'm very glad to have her on my team. She's our webmaster. She's my communication officer, who is really doing also, serving also the social media. And she is always incredibly quick and advancing questions that might come up, already pre-mediating them. And she has made she will share the screen now with you and show what she did. She shows exactly what the steps are to register for the NGO forum. You have to register before you go to the event of NGO CSW. Please, Ursula.
Yes, thank you, Catherine. Maybe there have been some questions coming in. Would you like to hear what they wanted to know, or what they wanted to tell us, these members?
Yes, okay.
There is Anne Troy asking, are the members of the UN Women all BPW members?
UN Women have nothing to do with BPW. It's not an NGO organization. It is an agency of the UN. So it could be that one of the, let's say, like Susan O'Malley, who was chair of NGO CSW and was in constant contact with the UN Women, that she might come to their attention and they will ask her to participate in UN Women. But that is not the rule at all.
Thank you. The next is from Carmen Logai. President, you mentioned that there is a secretary office in ESCWA in Beirut. I don't know if it is existent and why we don't have any connection. Anyway, due to our dramatic situation, maybe all the ESCWA will move from Lebanon. It is just for your information.
Carmen, thank you very much. Un grand merci for this information. We had somebody, we wanted to put somebody there, and then the person was not able to cross the border due to conflicts and to animosities between states. So we have to keep our eyes open. What we will do now, I think, as our new Vice President UN, Toiting Tularat, she has a large standing committee of BPW members who can work regionally, and we try very hard to have them participate in their country UN activities.
Okay. And then there is Caroline Chow, who tells us that she will have a parallel event, but you will show all the parallel events afterwards.
Caroline, I have it on the list. Thank you very much for, I did not forget you. I was very glad that you sent me your list. I'm very proud of that. Thanks.
And then there is Yats Harudin. She has a question which she would like to discuss. Maybe we can take that for after the presentation.
Great.
That's
great.
Okay.
Ursula, would you quickly talk about the registration?
Yes. A moment. I must show you my screen. Okay. First, I want to show you how you come to the BPW UN website. If you start on BPW international.org website, you can go to the UN here. And here you see CSW 66 2022. If you click here, you come on the starting page of CSW 66. The latest news is the regional consultation days and the consultation day. And here you find the link to registrate for the NGO CSW 66 forum on March. And now I would like to show you this how to register step-by-step guide. Here you can click and download it. How to register. This is a guide with screenshots. You go to this link, and then first you have to make an account. You click here, and you set up the account with all the names and all that. Create account. Check your mails. After having created the account, you have to confirm that this is your email, and then you click here, account history. You do not need to buy anything here, just control and fill in what you like. Then check out. And you can come to this screen, and here it's a bit difficult to find the next way. Take this one, continue for the checkout. You have again to fill out a form. You can also put in region topics of focus. This is a very long list. And then in the end, are you a paid NGO CSW New York member? The normal, I think, is that you are not, so click no and register. You can make a donation, but you don't have to. If you don't want to make it on, we must say that NGO CSW is a private organization, and they are depending from donations. And this year they are 50 years old, and they are looking for donations all over the place. So if you would like to donate, please do it here, or you just continue without donation.
May I just say at this concerning this, usually as I have to register society based parallel events, as I have to buy the ads and all these things, I always from BPW International give a little bit more and make a donation, because I think they give us a fantastic service. So I think that is helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. No one says that you don't. If you would like to give, please do it here. Donation starts at $25. Then you have to click the disclaimers, read and accept. I don't know if you are reading it, but you have to accept it to go on. Then you come again to this page, and you have to check your mails. Click on this link on the mail. Then again, you have to log in. You have to agree here, terms and conditions, complete profile, and then you come into your account. Here it is blue. Here you see your name, and you can put in a photo. You are now in your account, and here you have a list where you can put again or change or make more information about you. This leave empty if you are no member, and then save. And now it's fixed. Everything is fixed, and you are on the register page and on your account. You can still see it up here. Here you have a schedule, agenda, and you can make your agenda. We are now on the agenda, and we can search for instance, for BPW events. Search, click here. This you have to turn on any, otherwise you have to put everything in. And then you write here your organization, BPW, and click. These are the parallel events of BPW. And if you want to put these parallel events on your personal agenda, you click on these plus signs. If the signs are like this, you are already on this parallel event. You can go to My Agenda and see all your events on your personal forum agenda as a list or as a calendar. Click on the event to find all details, and click Go to Meeting to find all details of the meeting. You can study this on this PDF. It's on the website. Here you see if you are already registered or if there is still enough place. This you can find here. In this parallel event, there are 293 spots of 300. Click Attendees to search for participants, and then you can search again. Just try and play. I was searching for Chularat. I took only the first name, and then I had this result. So if you want to network, you can find people here, or you can click on them here, and then you are in their profile and you can network there. You find the tags of their interesting themes where they want to work on. If you want to look for other BPW parallel events, maybe you have also to search for International Federation for Business and Professional Women, or BPW, or BPW International, or IFBPW, because the different parallel events have different organizations in them. So you will find everything there. That's it concerning how you come to this forum, how you register.
We have had a question regarding when the picture was taken. I think if you're talking about the picture of the plenary, that was some years ago, because since 2020 there was no plenary, and right now they tell us to avoid to come to New York. I hope we can do the usual thing what we do normally with the consultation day, with the leader summit we have previously, with Claire Fulcher dinner we will having always at the Sunday of the first, as the day before the CSW starts. But this time it's we have. I'm just checking. Yeah, that I have. Okay, good. We have seem to have all questions. No, you don't. There was one question. No, you don't have to listen to me or to Ursula all the time. We will open. I quickly finish, show you the side event, the parallel events, and then the discussion is open. But then we will start. We will stop the registration. I hope that is okay. So I quickly continue. Ursula, is it okay like this? Can we?
Mm-hmm.
What I wanted to mention, there is also, if you would like to know more about what the UN is offering. Where were we here? Yeah, no, sorry, I've just to check.
Mm-hmm. Success.
I think that is it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know why it doesn't react. It's okay. We have UN is, if you go to the website of UN Women, and you have to click on, you have to have the search function CSW 66, and there you will find also a link to register on Indico. Indico is the database with all UN reps and all participants of the CSW who are not member states representatives, NGOs. Then you have, I just wanted to tell you, have to indicate if you search for the organization, you have to search for the International Federation of Business and Professional Women. We were registered 1947 under this name and could not change that. But our official name now is BPW International. So we only use International Federation of Business and Professional Women in the context of UN. Just that you know that. So as we said, the CSW NGO Forum, they organize, New York organizes the parallel event and everything that is going to take place outside of the UN. What kind of successes did we have? I was talking about Esther Heimer. She was first chair of the NGO Committee on the Status of Women in New York, which was taken over then by Susan O'Malley from 1972 to 1982. Then Helvi Sipilä, a member from BPW Finland, was vice chairperson and chairperson of CSW. So much to your question, are all the BPWs in UN Women? No, but she was an exception. She was vice chairperson and chairperson. She was also 1968 nominated as Special Rapporteur for the Status of Women and the Family Planning Project. Claire Fulcher was a founding member of the NGO Committee of UNIFEM, which is associated with the UN main headquarters in New York. And then we have Susan O'Malley, Dr. Susan O'Malley, who was chair from 2015 and 2019 of NGO CSW. She did an incredible job, and she is still one of our UN representatives in New York. So here you see Esther Heimer. I think that was around her 100th birthday. On the left-hand side here is Claire Fulcher. This lady you might know, that is Liz Benham, our international past president. And I think this is a lady from Finland. This is her during the time when she was Helvi BPW, when she was chair of UN Women. So let's quickly go to the parallel event, and then you have the floor. I'm sorry it took already so long. So we have the first one on March 14th, organized by BPW USA, Gender Inequality in the Context of Environmental and Disaster Risk in the Military. Then on the 14th also, we have the inclusion of women on the way to just transition, organized by BPW Alberta. So you have always the time are Eastern time, EST, and then CET is Brussels time. So you probably will have to calculate it for your region yourself. Then BPW Canada is talking about access to clean water in Indigenous communities on the 15th. Then on Wednesday, March 16th, we have the international event, BPW International Economic Empowerment of Women through Public Procurement and Financial Inclusion. We have very interesting people. Not everybody is confirmed, but we will let you know in the next few days. Then that is Nermin Ahmad and Wojka, from New York. That is on the name of also BPW USA, Achieving Economic Empowerment for Displaced Business and Professional Women. Nermin is also a UN representative in New York. Then we have Carol Hanlon. She is in Perth and has a business incubator, is collaborating closely with BPW International. And she has also a side event, Economic Empowerment of Women through the Sustainable Development Goals. That is also on the 17th of March, 10 a.m. Brussels time and 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Australian time. Then BPW Spain is organizing Mujeres por el Cambio, Women for the Change. That is also on the 17th at 7 o'clock Brussels time. Then on Friday, the 18th, we have Women's Innovative Responses to Climate Change. That is organized by BPW International. And we'll have also women who have companies in regard of as a response to climate change, who will talk about their experiences and their effects. And then on March 19th, we have the French event with BPW France and Europe, co-organized by Marie-Claude Machon-Honoré. She is our representative at UNESCO, and Karin Paboul with Sarah Manta and Lesja Wittmer Lesja Wittmer is our representative with NGO Women for Water, and Sarah Manta is responsible for also gender equality things. She has created a wonderful game on gender equality, which is very helpful. And then last but not least, on March 21st is BPW Taiwan, Club Tenyan in Taipei, my dear friend Caroline Cho, on women's economic empowerment after the pandemic. You see our past international president, Freda Miraclis, will be talking also, among others. I think it's a very interesting group. So thank you very much for your attention. And I close my presentation and would like to give the floor now to you for questions.